Hello, I'm Sofi. Welcome back to my studio. Today I'm going to demonstrate the petal sleeve for you. The petal sleeve actually looks like a flower bud or petals, if you will, and it has different variations to it. Let's say this one is more firm and kind of structured around the arm, and the second one has some gathers at the top, and the other one is pretty much cut like a belt sleeve and slashed and opened. That's what they have done with it. Obviously, if you, let's say, do the first one, you can do any one of them. Now I'm going to demonstrate this first style for you, the basic style for you. Now for doing that, again, we're going to need only the cap of the sleeve, where we copy only the back side and then create two of them put together, and you will see the rest in a second. Okay, we are going to take a piece of small paper and draft a vertical line and horizontal line that later on are going to be matched with the grain of the sleeve and with the bicep line. Here, let's say my bicep was here, I'm just matching them up, and on this line I'm going to copy the back side of the sleeve, but I'm going to also go towards the front side a little bit, as much as it will go. So here, because the petal sleeve goes and passes through the grain line, the other side goes and passes the grain line over this side, and they overlap. That's why we copy the other side also. Now, the length of the sleeve is going to be 1.5 inches on the underseam of the sleeve, and we are going to cut this sleeve a little bit tighter. So we're going to go 1/4 inch in, 1/4 in, and make the sleeve opening a little bit smaller. So on this line it measures 1.5 inches. Then we go to the cap of the sleeve. We come down about 5 inches. So this drop is 5 inches. So I'm creating the dimensions of the sleeve, okay? Now on the sleeve cap, I am going to overlap my sleeve either with 3.5 or 4 inches, whichever way you want to. Let's say I do 4 inches. So from the grain line, I am going to measure 4 inches here, 4 inches. So 1.5 inches, 5 inches, and 4 inches to here. Now, my intention is to connect these two points to each other with a slight curved line. After I draft my freehand curve, I'm going to bring in my hip curve, and I'm going to try to come up with one smooth and continuous curvy line, like this. Okay, so pretty much I constructed the sleeve. What I would like you to do is to take another piece of paper and attach to this one. See, I drafted a straight line on it, and I'm placing the wrong side to the wrong side to come up with, here you can mark it right there so you can see they match with each other. Here, the grain line to the grain line on both, like this. And let's staple these two pieces to each other. So you can see that you are cutting the other side precisely the same. And right now we don't need to add the similances yet. We're just coming up with two sides of the sleeve. Later on I'm going to put these pieces on another larger piece of the paper, and I'm going to come up with a complete sleeve. Sometimes petals are not connected. They use them separately, but we're going to connect these two pieces to each other to create one piece of sleeve. Okay, we draw a straight line on this piece of paper, and we're going to place one side of the sleeve on one side of the line and tape the place, and then take my neighboring piece and put them touching each other precisely like this, and again secure the piece nicely without tilting in a place like this. Okay, here if you pay attention you can see that by doing this, what I have actually done, I eliminated my under seam, meaning the seam under my sleeve. So the opening is not at the bottom, but it is on top. You will see that in a minute. Sometimes when I'm saying things during drafting this sleeve, most probably it will make sense to you until you see the finished piece. Okay, so right now again, even if my sleeve is looking kind of funny in its shape, it's just a regular sleeve, and both sides of my sleeve right now are backs. So let's say I decide to keep this part as my back and this part as my front. I'm going to be going from the notch down to the underseam and divide it by 2, drop this for 1/4 inch to make this into my front. So pretty much this is going to be shaved. So this is not going to be counted as part of my sleeve because the front is that much lesser than the back. Okay, and now I can add my seam allowances. My sleeve is finished. At the cap, if you have watched my other videos such as my belt sleeve, puff sleeve, you would notice that your cap seam allowances are always 1/2 inch. Doesn't matter how they look, the cap is a cap. So because we usually leave 1/2 inch seam allowance in the armholes also to stitch the sleeves into the armhole. So if the sleeve cap is 1/2 inch, the armhole is 1/2 inch also, and vice versa. So here we're going to finish our 1/2 inch seam allowance at the top. Now at the bottom, at the sleeve opening, my seam allowance is going to be only 1/4 inch because this is the edge of the sleeve. It doesn't carry any pressure, and also it's curvy. So in order for my fabric to conform and turn, because I'm going to be stitching this sleeve into a lining, most probably. So that's why I am going to add 1/4 inch seam allowance to the bottom, to the hem of the seam. It is a funny looking hem, but it's a hem. And with your French curve, you smooth out all your broken points on your seam allowances and patiently go around and connect all the lines so your cut is smooth and beautiful and precise. Okay, so like that. And obviously for the bottom, I'm going to switch my ruler and fix up my seam allowances right there, and the bottom also. Like that. And then after you fix and smooth everything, you're going to cut the sleeve. You see, if you're cutting anything, actually, any pattern, I will definitely encourage you to kind of imagine that you're drafting with your scissors again for the final time. So instead of compromising the quality of your cut, you can actually increase it, come up with a very nicely cut lines and shapes. Okay, so this is my front and this is my back, and my sleeves are going to go on top of each other and overlap like this. You see my grain lines going on top of each other, and when I do this, I come up with a sleeve. Let's say if I was wearing this, and it will be a sleeve like that, worn this way. If again, let me put this on my form for you to be able to see it better. Here's my petal sleeve on the dress form, and as you can see, this part of the sleeve is going to stay open, and the opening of the sleeve is kind of like more flexible that way, and it's a little compact structure looking like a flower bud. And as you can see, because of the structure of this, the wrong side of the fabric is visible. That's the reason sometimes they will cut this sleeve four pieces, meaning each and every side of the sleeve is going to get 2 pieces, where you use one piece as a lining of your sleeve, so when your sleeve opens up or moves, you don't see the wrong side. Here at the middle of the sleeve, we're going to place our grain line, because now these grain lines are not going to be functional, because one fabric cannot have 2 grain lines. We just put them on our sleeve to know exactly where the caps are meeting. But the grain line is going to move at the center. Okay, and this is going to be my front, therefore I'm going to keep one of these notches only. So these double notches are going to be erased, and measuring 3 inches up from this point, I will put my single notch right here, and my double notch right there, and single notch for the front. Okay, double notch for the back, single notch for the front. And when I put my grain lines again on top of each other, so my sleeves are going to be sitting right on top of each other, both of them nicely, and we can notch the notch together. So when my sleeves are open like that, we can really quickly place the notches on top of each other. First of all, adjust the sleeve the way it will be overlapped, also how it is going to be stitched into the armhole. Okay, one more thing you can do is, if this is my front, you see how the fabric is going towards the back. You can choose to send it back, or you can choose to bring the other side up to be visible on the front. It's up to you which side goes up and which side goes down. Pretty much this is done, and then all I have to do, just write down my label. This is my petal sleeve, and this is size 8, and we're going to cut 2 or 4. You decide what you're going to do. If let's say it is going to be self-lined sleeve, then we're going to cut. If it is going to be finished in another way, most probably you can do mirror stitch here, or you can do another treatment, how you fold and baby hem the edges of the sleeve. Depending on that, you will decide you're going to use 2 pieces or you're going to use 4 pieces. Now, once you decide, then everything is decided, and the petal sleeve is done and finished for you. and welcome again. Hopefully see you next time, and thank you for watching.